Good evening, this is Nerdist a Human, and welcome back to our AA-only historical battles in Rome Total War, and you join me today for the Battle of Carrhae, one of Rome's most bloody defeats. Sorry for the spoiler, but this is an incredibly famous battle because of just that. The Romans get completely massacred, and not only that, it also involves one of their most famous people, Crassus, who was a part of the triumvirate with Caesar and Pompey, although the fact that I had to explain that he was part of that triumvirate means he's maybe not quite as famous as he perhaps could have been, possibly because he died in this battle. Again, spoilers, sorry about all of that. But yes, Carrhae was a battle that need not happened, and as we start looking into the battle description, we'll soon see why. Who exactly was Marcus Licinius Crassus then? Well, it says here that it was the success of Julius Caesar in Gaul that led Licinius Crassus, a rival for power, to move against the Parthians. Caesar was doing rather too well. Crassus had been a member of the first triumvirate with Caesar and Pompey, and then a consul with Pompey. His achievements were in danger of being overshadowed. Indeed, so Crassus was basically the richest man in Rome, and as such had an awful lot of power. Now, he did have some military background. He was involved with Pompey as a young man with Sulla, the earlier dictator of Rome at the start of the 1st century BC. So he does have some experience of war, but he's not as well regarded for it as Pompey and Caesar were. Indeed, he would often see Pompey stealing his glory. There was very much a rivalry between all three of these men. But Crassus built up a lot of his money by basically being a bit of a dick. So he had this firefighting service in Rome, which sounds very nice, but basically, as all these wooden tenement buildings would burn down, he would come along and buy the land for an exceedingly cheap price, and then obviously as it burned down and he put the fire out, he would then, basically have a lot of free land, or very, very cheap land. Whilst very rich then, Crassus didn't have the same sense of glory that both Pompey and Caesar had from military campaigns. So in 55 BC, Crassus went to Syria, a province that he had been given when the spoils of the empire were divided up. Indeed, he was going out there for basically a 5-year governorship. But he went out there with war on his mind. Indeed, it is said that some of the tribunes of the plebs tried to get in his way as he left Rome, basically accusing him of going out there to start a war. Pompey, after stepping in, did manage to let him leave. I don't know if Pompey thought he's a massive idiot and will get himself killed and that would be great, or if Pompey just, wanted to assert his power and get one more over on Crassus. I don't know. Either way, Crassus went out there clearly with war on his mind, which isn't really traditionally how you start a governorship, but hey-ho. So the Parthian Empire to the east was an opportunity for glory and even greater wealth, although his desire for a war was completely unnecessary and probably beyond his skills to manage. To be fair to Crassus, he was an adequate general rather than a great commander like Caesar or Pompey. Indeed, the game agrees. He probably knew that he owed his place in the triumvirate to his enormous wealth. There also have been some doubts as to Julius Caesar's true motives in writing Crassus, arguing him going to war. So yeah, we do have some of these issues of the sources are going to be biased, of course, particularly when you're looking 2,000 years in the past, but you know what? He got himself killed in the end, so presumably he was pretty foolhardy. In 53, he got his war, but foolishly rejected local advice and marched directly towards the Parthian heartland. He'd been advised to attack through the mountains of Armenia. Indeed, the Armenian king went to go see him and basically said, "Mate, I've got like 40,000 troops, do you want them?" Presumably he would want a chunk of the kingdom of Parthia when they won, but he offered this and said, the mountains of Armenia are much better, their cavalry isn't going to be so good. But he ignored this. So the legions crossed the Euphrates and pressed eastwards, but upon hearing that the Parthians were near, Crassus reformed the army into a massive marching square. So typically in military of this era, you'd create a long line to prevent flanking, basically. He decided to do something novel. I mean, fair play, pretty bold, but as we see, it doesn't really work out well. A number of horse archers and cavalry under the inspiring commander Silianus then confronted him. As the Roman infantry stood firm, the Parthians began the battle with a cacophony of beating drums to dishearten their enemies. Then the arrow storm started. I find it really interesting at this point that the game itself starts speaking to you in a much more direct tone here, so although it's not usual to tell you about the aftermath of a battle that you're about to refight, the fate of Crassus is worth knowing. The Parthians captured and executed him. Crassus was probably the wealthiest man in the Roman world, and the Parthians poured molten gold down his throat. It should be said that I'm pretty sure he was already decapitated at this point. But even so, they also slaughtered the Roman wounded and took the survivors into captivity. The final insult was that they captured many standards, including the legionary eagles. So yeah, we'll discuss the aftermath a little bit later, but suffice to say it doesn't go too well. So here is our army. Plenty of first cohorts with a fair experience, good sword and shield on them. It was a good army, but these cav aren't going to exist for very long, unfortunately, so we're not going to be left with all that much. We will play on easy, of course, because we want to see if the AI can actually win before putting up the difficulty. Yeah, not feeling too confident about their chances on this. Here are all the gold... Oh, I didn't realise they were gold experienced cataphracts. That's obscene. Okay. And the horse archers, they're Persian cav, not even horse archers, so that's looking pretty darn solid. And we've got the proper late era Eastern generals who are just more cataphracts with the double hit points, so not looking too hot for the Romans. But you know what, we'll get into battle and we'll watch the intro video.
Carrhae, 55 BC. Licinius Crassus marches deep into Parthia. Crassus is in the east, looking for glory and riches. He needs both in the struggle for ultimate power back in Rome. For weeks he has marched after the Parthian army. They are drawing him deep into their own lands. Now the Romans think that the Parthians won't fight, and the Roman cavalry are too far ahead of the main column. They've ridden straight into a Parthian trap. Heavy cataphracts close in. Parthian horse archers are free to harass the Roman infantry. Crassus orders his legions to form the testudo as protection against arrow fire.
Here we are in the battle then, and it's an intriguing one this, because, okay, we've just had a bit of a cavalry battle out here. Now, the game actually does simulate this, by the way, so there is a chance, I guess, that cavalry could do slightly better or worse on some occasions and maybe kill more of them, but I doubt it's going to be more than one, frankly, because these guys are incredibly tough. Now, my assumption about what this part of the battle refers to is this has already been going on, and yes, Crassus' son Publius decides with about 5,000 of his men to try and break out, basically, and they get ahead and then they get themselves basically encircled and destroyed. I'm assuming that's what that cavalry up there refers to in the actual history of the battle itself, and at this point Publius' head would be paraded in front of them, and at that stage some of the men got a little bit pissy, basically, and decided to start running in and charging and attacking, because really when you're just getting shot all day, whilst this battle is an intriguing one, because most of the battle, apart from that affair with Publius over there, most of the battle realistically was just a load of Romans getting shot. They decided to form the coward square, of course, as we said. Now, in some ways not the worst idea, I guess you can't get flanked in that sense, but they have no archers. I don't know how, once they're in this position, what else they're supposed to do. I think the main problem for Crassus is getting himself in this situation. So maybe you should have marched out into the desert, stay by the river next time, you numpty. But okay, fine. We're now stuck in this position. What is the AI going to do about it? Well, the cataphracts are going to come thundering in pretty darn soon, so the testudos are only going to be useful for so long. If they stay in testudo, they get demolished by the cataphracts. This is not a battle I imagine the AI doing very well at. Certainly when I first trialed the idea of this series, I remember clicking on this video on this particular battle, and the battle ended in about 4 seconds. Whether that was an easy or not, I'm not sure. Hopefully they'll survive longer than that original kind of a demo for this series. So we will see. So we're going to get everyone grouped together onto AI assistance, and in we go. So what are we going to do? Maybe the cavalry are charging forward. Okay, interesting. Well, as the commentator suggested, the cavalry are probably going to be key to at least get these guys out of the way. Honestly, the armour on these lads, I don't think the Persian cavalry can do very much to them. Even if they're shooting them in the rear, I don't think there's anything really that they can do. Can you get some javelins in on these cataphracts? Because you might need them. They're not going to at this rate. Okay, Cav going to intercept the Cav. Straight the general would be best. That's intriguing. Well, we'll see who wins that. The general is... Well, he's got gold, sword and shield, but... Okay, could be better, could be worse. By the way, the graphics are looking a bit better than they have in some of my other videos. Since I changed the monitor a few months ago, I've been having some real issues with trying to get the settings right on Rome Total War, but it looks an awful lot nicer than it has in some others, so hopefully this is looking a little bit better. We have one unit that's completely routed. They got pummeled by the cataphracts, I imagine. This is not great right now. The general... Oh, if the general dies, it's all over, isn't it? Okay, he's just getting piled in. I think that's got to be it. Unless some infantry... Infantry pile in? Come on, he's right there. Your general's right there. They're throwing javelins. Actually, that might do... Oh, he's down to 7. Down to 7. I think it might be too late. Might be too late. Can Crassus hold on, sir? Keep your head on your noggin. Keep your head on your noggin. Keep your noggin. Anyway, something like that. Down to 4. He's not even fighting right now, technically. He's trying to run away. You might get out of there. They can keep him alive. They might have a chance, but I feel like they needed that cav. They really, really needed that cav. As for the rest of this infantry, they will chop through the cataphracts in general. I wonder if they're going to get their maces out. You've got the spears right now. I don't think the AI is going to be clever enough to use it. Oh, I just realised that I haven't had the music on this whole time. Oh no. Okay, it's fine. It's only a few minutes in, and the cataphracts are indeed going to go down. That's very nice. Absolutely grand. These infantry are a little bit overstretched, aren't they? 19 of them, 12 cataphracts general. Yeah, they need to kill the general. It's really the only way this is going to work. But over here, okay. There we are. There's the music at long last. Took a while for that to come on in, didn't it? Right. So, with the music finally catching up with us, they might sense there's actually a battle here rather than a massacre. Interesting, but that is a massive charge on these guys. They really took that fairly well. Wow. Well done, guys. Just get immediately back up. I would have thought you'd be a bit winded from that charge. But they're doing a surprisingly competent job. How are we looking? 61 to 44. Not brilliant, but... Okay, there's a lot of horse archers going to be left here because so far what's mostly been killed... Oh, General, no! Crassus, what are you doing, you utter numpty? You could have won this at the start if you charged in. He's just walking slowly away. Oh, now he's routing. That does kind of reflect what sort of happened here, because in the real battle, they would obviously be surrounded and just get shot to ribbons. Oh, down Crassus goes to an arrow. That'll probably be it. That's a bit of a shame. Yeah, in the real battle, he would basically kind of give up. I mean, the Parthians would shoot them until basically sunset, and they would kind of basically end the battle at sunset, which is, I guess, a fairly traditional thing for them to do. They were just shooting all day, by the way. Apparently had these like camel wagons with arrows that just kept on reinforcing all of their ammo supplies, which is excellent. Be nice if we had that on the game sometimes. But like the artillery on Empire Total War, where basically you can shoot your cannons forever. But I don't see that they got too much of a chance at this stage, having lost the general. It's a bit of a shame. Yeah, and basically after the battle ended from sunset, Crassus was just so miserable with his son dying, which is kind of understandable. That sort of a mutiny, people just took over. Crassus didn't really even argue, he just kind of followed them as they tried to get back to the camp at Carrhae. But yeah, it looks like they're going to melt like the proverbial. Honestly, this is actually quite close. And there's not enough here to turn this around, I don't think. But there's not a lot of cataphracts. There's not a lot of them. I haven't seen either of their generals go down, which is a bit of an issue. So, yeah, they're just not going to hold the morale at this stage. Bit of a shame. Final unit is going to get charged down by the cataphracts. And there is defeat. You know what? That wasn't the worst attempt. I think they actually did a fairly good job there. 67%. Almost there. I reckon. I was Captain Marcus. That's fun. Okay, so he's got the right name on there. So, I reckon we try this again on easy, and I reckon that they will be able to do it. It just might not be an always kind of thing. Let's try again. Attempt number 1 was not too bad, but this time, I just got to hope that the general doesn't throw himself into this. In fact, do we want to take control? I'm going to give them full control the second time, because as you might have known if you've seen the series before, generally what I try and do is just hold off when I press the AI assistance button. And that often just holds them in position for long enough for the AI to make a more sensible choice. What we need for the general to do is not run straight into all the cataphracts. Let the infantry take on the cataphracts. They can win. Mop up the horse archers like the little intro video tells you. Don't mind if you want to charge into these guys, just don't get caught out. In fact, I don't mind him charging into the enemy general. That's not an issue at all, but yeah, he certainly doesn't want to get himself absolutely surrounded and massacred like last time. They're going to need him, damn it. So, infantry charging them down immediately. That's interesting because if they don't get caught here, they're going to have a nice surround. Oh, guys, that was like an inch off. How are these going to hold on this? Actually, they only lose a couple to that charge and they got the surround. This is a much, much better position for them to be in at the start of this. And they're not changing over to maces at all. AI on easy, I don't know if that changes actually. That's an intriguing thing to think about. Their arrows are going to do very little damage to either side, but they might at the... Yeah, they're even using the peeler this time. This is a much better affair. General throwing himself into this is not so bad because there are at least plenty of infantry. But maybe don't go to the one area where there's lots of their cataphracts. So where else are we doing? Roman cav are going to get massacred. They're just not good enough. If they could just pin one Persian cav, they'd at least do something. As a general rule, I don't think they're going to be that useful. They're possibly, yeah, used with the general to take out the cav might be a sensible idea, or just to hit cataphracts in the back. But there goes a route. There's a route. Okay, a couple of cataphracts are going to get torn to shreds here. There's the third one. These are like the 7 experienced guys, aren't they? Oh, excellent. So this is much a promising start. I'd be surprised if the AI could completely fluff it from here, but there's plenty still to go. We need the general to survive, and he's already quite badly damaged. Actually, no, that's not him. Actually, he's not damaged at all. Crassus is a much more sensible boy here today. He won't absolutely cry over the death of his son yet. No, he will avenge him, damn it. Or just stand there and get shot by arrows. Something like that. Don't know where he's going, but... oh yeah, there are quite a few routes going on now. This is far, far more promising. This is much more like what we want to see. The armoured general is taking on some infantry. Suddenly not a big unit of infantry, but there are some reinforcements back here. If they can just finish off that cataphract unit, they're just... oh, that's the general. That's why. That's a fresh lad in there. I think that original charging force is all dead. But they need to take out these generals. Just ignore the Persian cav, honestly. They can't do very much. All I'd use those Roman lads, those Roman cav for, is just to keep them out of the main affair. I need these generals down. Get the infantry in. Yeah, there's some support. There's some support. Javelins are nice, but only 17 of them might not be enough. The general is now into the fray with their general, and 21 to 19. Okay, so looking pretty even. There are... yeah, still a few cataphracts in there, but plenty of infantry as well. This is going to be a tight affair. Oh, someone just got shot down by a missile there. We start to be careful of these arrows because you haven't taken enough care of them. If they're the Persian cav are going to get caught. That's very strange, but that looks like an auto win unless the charge does something, but they stood up to the cataphract charge. So how are they going to hold? This is an intriguing one. They should be slaughtering these Persian cav. I mean, they're good units, but here comes the charge. They're mostly going to charge their own men. Ooh, that did it though. They're still good units, Persian cav. Still good units. They might lose this again, actually. It doesn't look like they're going to pull through. They need to take out the generals. They need to take out the generals. Right, I'm going to let them continue to fight by themselves, but I think next time, when I take the odd moment of control, We just need the generals to go down. No. The Persian cav at this point are no longer distracted. They're just charging in and demolishing what's left. It's sad, but it's not going to be enough. It's just not going to be enough unless it can take down these generals in time. This is the battle. This is where it all comes down to. We have almost no infantry left at this point. What's left just has to hold those Persian cav just to keep the numbers, just level here. 17 v 16. 16 v 16. It's obscenely close. There's a few Steves in here. Come on, Steve. Come on. I should be calling them Mark, really. There's so many Marcuses in Rome. Maybe we'll start calling our Steves Mark sometimes. It's a bit less common in England, but it's still a fairly generic lad name. You're winning that. You're actually winning it, sir. Oh dear. Okay, when we're down to 1 unit, by the way, I actually can't AI control them anymore because they have to be grouped for that. Come on, you need to get in there and help them. There are only 5 men left. Here comes the charge. And, come on, we'll speed this up just a little bit. But it's just down to the general, and yeah, it's just him. I'll let him keep chasing for the time being, but he's definitely lost it at this point. And Marcus is just accepting his fate now. He's just being whipped around their head with their spears, and that pretty much seems it. Interesting, the armored generals actually have themselves swords, not maces. Intriguing, never really noticed that. But of course the earlier Eastern generals have themselves javelins. They're kind of like the Pontic Heavy Cav, really. So yeah, he's just getting himself beaten. I'm going to actually turn to attack. That might be slightly more sensible. But at this point we'll just speed it up. We might see a general go down, but it's basically going to end. Oh, enemy general routing. Okay. What's actually left of them, by the way? 61. Oh, they're actually doing worse than last time. Weirdly. I think some of those Persian cav charges have just been a bit more effective. Right, but they can at the very least mop him up, but it's basically over. I'll show you a little bit more if anything useful happens. But at this point, yeah, no, that's it. Didn't even have a chance to click there. Clear defeat for Captain Marcus. Okay. We'll give it attempt number 3. But, let's see if the AI can do it. Attempt number 3. Here's the plan. I'm just going to go and get my general and the Roman cav to immediately charge at the general of this unit over here. Okay, that's all the Persian cav units. So we'll go and do that. If they want to get stuck into battle, by the way, we'll just take these guys out first. Looks like, oh yeah, that's fine. Okay. Get on top of them. That's absolutely grand. Everyone else is doing what they want, which is basically going to get themselves killed immediately. Why are they routed? Did they get javelined? They must have got javelined. Okay. Well, that's intriguing. Right, well, we've routed a cav immediately. That's great to see. So, what was my actual plan? My plan was to go and take out these guys, and then they can do what they want. Go and take out the general. Looks like we already managed to rout 2 units before the cataphracts have even landed this time. So, it's a much better starting position, but aside from this, I'm going to leave it down to, yeah, the general, to be honest. Oh, they've got a big hill, and they're not coming at us. I thought they would charge in at us. We'll just speed this up, see how that goes. Okay. See how the cav are doing over here. Get the general just to plough through a moment. That'll be fine. And get into the rear. Okay, let's just try and take this guy out, and we'll just see how the army does. What are you on, by the way? 21. Not too bad. Okay, I'm going to go and send the cav back to go and just mop up the guys who are causing us problems. And at this point, I will just tell everyone now to do what they want once again. So we've got a big pile up over here, which is what we want for the infantry to be involved in, really. There goes the general, which is perfect. So with the general dead, just let him flee. Get back into the battle, and that is absolutely grand. At this point, we'll just see if the AI can manage to do it by itself, because you'd like to think it could, but the cataphracts are really ripping their way through these guys. It's a slight concern. Now, if we want to take out this general as well, you know what? Oh, they want to do it. That's what I was telling them to do. So yeah, just go and do it. That's fine. I'm not sure they'll necessarily win, but it's fine. Right, this is perfect because the other general this time is walking straight into these guys. They're actually doing what I want them to. Weirdly, they're doing exactly what I want. The general's going to plough into the back of the cataphracts, which is great. Just get some support in there. I'm going to help by blowing the Horn of Destiny for a moment. And that's the Persian cav gone. Alright, I'll let them do what they want to do, to be honest. Just get everyone part of the same group in auto. But this is looking positive. 49 to 39, that's close. But with General gone, the second General, well, he's pinned, but he's not He's not necessarily going down as quickly as I'd like, but it's interesting, certainly. So, Roman Cav are unfortunately getting themselves in a stupid battle against these cataphracts. They might just win due to sheer numbers, but we will see. Come on, Mr. Wolfpelt, you can do it. If nothing else, these guys might have bought enough time for these cataphracts to get defeated and maybe done a little bit of damage to hit points. Oh, it looks like they're turning around for them now. No, General! Pile in here! Pile in here! I think they might have this time. Let's speed it up because I reckon this is a good one. Here come the javelins. General is wasting his energy chasing after dead cataphracts. No, he's going to turn around. Going to turn around. Oh, come on. Come and kill the general, sir. That's all you need to do. Shouldn't have to give you that much of a push. This cataphract is going to take on the early legionaries, and they're looking pretty strong this time. Okay, this is looking much better. I didn't mean to accidentally take out this unit on the way, but this time they just ran into it, which worked out very nicely. So, we'll be looking 21, 20, more charging in, more throwing missiles into their back. That's looking good. General is... Okay, he's actually charging some cataphracts. Fair enough, he's doing something, and with the general now surrounded... Oh, this looks interesting. Probably a good time, by the way, to bring up the lad over here, Syria, who was actually, for his great victory here, was actually executed by the Persian king, basically for basically looking too good, being a threat to the king. Bit of a sad end. Technically, this is 10,000 Parthians to 43,000 Romans, by the way. Rome would lose their eagles, 20,000 dead, 10,000 captive. When they eventually made it back to Carrhae, basically the Parthians were like, yeah, can you just sod off back across the river to Syria and also want a peace treaty? And, well, the Romans obviously shoved Crassus out of the fort and were like, you know, you're going to go sign the peace treaty. But that didn't really go well for anyone. I'm talking here as if the battle's over. It's very close and technically very much in the Parthians' favour right now. The general is... Is the general going to go down here? Oh, there's only two. Okay, I think he will go down, but there's still Parthians to take out, which is awkward, the Persian cav. The general's not even pinned anymore. Oh, that's a ruddy nightmare. I'm trying to do the end of battle outro here, mate. Okay, general has managed to catch some Persians, and they are breaking as soon as they're hit. I don't know what happened to that unit at the start. That was fascinating. Okay, realistically, if they do win this, do I feel like I've unduly influenced it? Realistically, I just made one decision, which is to charge here. We hit Cav on the way, fine. I tell him to charge over here, and since then he's kind of been mopping things up. He's been kind of doing what the cavalry's supposed to do, which is help his infantry in the odd moment if necessary, but basically let the infantry do their work and let the Cav be dealt with. Should I just tell them to turn around? I think they've got it. We'll just let it continue and we'll see what happens, because the general over there is just doing some Parthian shots here, running away, shooting them down. Oh, this is a big old cliff. There's not a lot of actual battle going on here, but it's going to take forever to actually finish in this part of the world. Unfortunately, they're knackered having chased them down, and are they going to manage to hack through enough of them? It's pretty even, but not quite enough. Oh dear. General, I think, can win this by himself eventually, but he's exhausted because, frankly, he's chasing around Persian cav like a numpty. I love this battle map, by the way, because on Rome Total War you very rarely had some proper mountainous regions, although obviously you do get the stupid horses going down cliffs. I mean, for 2004 it's doing alright, but yeah, it's a little bit funny at times. This is probably why they avoided so many mountainous regions in Rome. They just embraced it in Medieval 2. It was a lot more fun. But realistically, what do we have? You had the peeler to throw at them, man. One day we might finish. There we are. They're going to try, but it's a bit late now. One day we might get to the end of this battle. At long last, the general's actually caught up with this guy, which is excellent. There's another one hidden over here. This is truly the Battle of Carrhae. There's just hidden cavalry. All sorts of nooks and crannies are more and more hidden Persians, damn it. Okay, at this point, yeah, that unit in the middle took on the 9 infantry that are over there. The general continues to flee to the hills. One day there might be a battle here, but I think it's just a matter of time because the cavalry are not managing to hold up when they actually make it to the general. This guy, yeah, that's all that's really left. 39 of these Persian cav, and they're not in a great geographical position right now. At this point, the coward square is looking a little bit weak, to be honest, but it's still the principle is there, by the way. And they've ran off to go break off and take on this guy again, which is intriguing. Okay, so in the end of this battle, it's starting to look a little bit more dicey, actually, as they get themselves back together, because some of them have regrouped. This could be interesting. Yeah, because in the end, what happened was a load of the prisoners were just kind of like paraded round all of the towns in the region. Some sort of very sick kind of, like heads on spikes kind of affair. They decided to call it Crassus's Triumph, which was kind of wonderfully cruel and amusing in many ways. Well, that's some of the infantry down. So, okay, come on, General. Come on, General. Charge their king and end the battle. This guy's in charge of the cataphracts. They're already gone, aren't they? Okay, yeah. They're going to throw some javelins. This is a more early style general, so he's still got the javelins, which is why he's busy skirmishing. Fine. There we are. Persian cavalry going to lose to the 2 that are left of those guys. This general could be in trouble if they all charged in at once, but I think surely he's got it. Oh no, Steve! Only 1 left. Come on, sir, you can hold. Charge, my friends, charge. Oh dear, come on. He's right there. This is so tedious. Persian cav have now slaughtered the last 2 of that unit, burying their heads in the sand like all their comrades. It's going to be a complete opposite of Carrhae, really, where Crassus is just the Odyssean-style hero. Basically, no one will survive but him. This one guy is trying desperately. Come on, Steve, you are going to survive the battle. Oh, good dodge, sir. Good dodge. Lovely stuff. And the javelin's still coming, though. Still coming. Oh no, he went down with the friends. He had to die among his friends. In fairness, that is not too shabby. This general is starting to wind me up now. Like, he's trying desperately to find a way to lose this battle. I'm just going to get him to actually go and engage at this stage. I'm technically, he's the only unit left, so I do actually have control at this point. Just go and end the battle. Go and actually run at them. Go and win for us all, please. Let me go home. Every time we're just surrounded and they're not actually engaging. I don't think they have any missiles left. It's just ridiculous. I don't think they've managed to kill any of this general in half an hour. Turn around and kill them. Can we possibly manage to get one of them stuck in a sandwich? I don't know. This is absolutely obscene. I have no idea how long this battle's been going on for now, but I just want it to end. Why wouldn't you let him go home? Crassus actually doesn't want to go home. He's the invader here, to be honest. He should probably die in a bloody hole. Or, this head chopped off and eventually, gold poured down his throat like in the stories. There we go. We caught one of them. Utter numpty. Obviously, that's where the whole Game of Thrones Golden Crown idea came from. Most of the things in Game of Thrones have a really clear historical reference point if you know your stuff. So this would be where that particular one comes from. But let's see if we can end this eventually. If I tell him just to run beyond them, they're not going to react as much. Yeah, let's just see if we can do that. And quickly turn. Oh, we might just, yay! We got them. It might finally be over in a minute. The enemy army is routing. Oh, many egg salads were eaten this day. Excellent. And just charge the general. Please let it be over. Let it end. And there's victory. Okay, I did have to take control at the end, but I think that was only fair enough. Minimal. I would suggest minimal. Oh yeah, no, we actually want to chase down. We actually want to kill this general. We're actually going to let him get away for his king to stab him in the throat. Maybe he gets to live in this version of the story. Maybe having not defeated the Romans, just completely bloody-nosed Pyrrhic victoried it. Yeah, maybe he gets to live. Maybe that's the great ending that we get here. Serena, the great general, gets to escape and live his life as a mountain goat somewhere in the hills of Mesopotamia. Officially, it's a close victory. It's pretty darn Pyrrhic, I would say. 382 kills is not a lot for 642 pretty darn solid Romans, but I guess they largely did the job. It's pretty much the same as in history for the Romans. I mean, they're all dead, aren't they? The only difference is Crassus and his bodyguard getting away. We still have 40-odd thousand dead Romans, nothing to take home, nothing really to show for it as well. So can't exactly go to the next town and take it over with this bodyguard, can he? So how does he even make it back across the border at this point? I don't know. I mean, these 86 men could easily chase down and kill him a few days later. probably that would be the reality. But hey ho, there we are. Crassus maybe does get his triumph in a slightly more positive way, and in this version of events, maybe he goes back to Rome after his 5 years of governorship, and the triumvirate continues to take an awkward hold, and maybe Caesar never becomes dictator. Who knows? Who knows? But there are the stats in case you're interested. The AI has managed to do it on easy. I'm not going to try it on medium because that was stupendously close. They had so much left of this general, whereby if the AI uses it more effectively, then they could probably win this with more of their men left. But hey ho, they managed to win it. I did very minimal work. I just told them to charge at the general at the start, which obviously, a dead general does make a big difference. But after that, it was basically all down to him. So fair enough. Well done, AI. Victory to you today. And with that, then, we will leave it here today. Do join me on Thursday, where we will go back to the Battle of Carrhae, but this time we will battle from the general's point of view, which is always an intriguing one. It certainly looks like in this battle we're going to need to do an awful lot of work as the general. How much that will mean we're going to struggle controlling the infantry, that is the real question here. But I always like to do it after the AI only. It does give me a few ideas of how we can fight that battle, so do join me for that. But for now, it's probably time to thank all of the members on the channel for their great support. Thank you to everyone who comments down below as well, because all the engagement here on the channel is always wonderful to see, and I hope you enjoyed this historical battle. For now, I will leave you. I'm Thomas, this is To Nerd to Human, and this has been an AI historical battle, the Battle of Carrhae. Thank you, and bye-bye. Welcome to Babylon, which is empty. Oh, Steve's dead. Bit of a shit. They seem a bit sad about it all. It's okay, guys. This is what it's about. Oh, they turned their backs. We did actually break them with a charge. Exceptional. How are we doing this? They may take our armies, but they'll never take our spies.